Hi, folks. Robert O'Brien here in the O'Brien Guitars Workshop. Welcome and thanks for tuning in. As usual, looks like we have a lot of people on here from all over the world. Man, I'm always amazed at how many people tune in. It's truly amazing. So this is crazy. Larry down there in Alabama. Hola, maestro. And we got Mr. Garcia in Austin, Texas. Larry actually took Paco's flamenco class here in the shop here last year or a couple years ago. And let's see, John Helton in Colorado, Cuatro Diversiones. I don't know where that person's from. And oh, Charlottesville, Virginia. Look at that. Pierre from South Africa bought the flamenco guitar building course. Greetings from South Africa. Steve Foss, good morning from Longmont, Colorado. Flamenco video is very good. Paco's off screen. He's backstage here in the green room getting ready to come on. We've got him getting all, got a massage back there going on. He'll be on here in just a few minutes. Actually, no. Ana Teresa, his wife, just tells me that he's just finishing up a bullfight. He'll be out here in just a minute. As soon as he gets done with the bullfight there in the arena. Neil Graham, greetings from Sussex, England. Acoustic Coyote, good morning. Acoustic Coyote, I think he won one of the drawings in the last live stream there. Speaking of drawings, here in a little while during the chat, we're going to be giving away one of Paco's online flamenco guitar building courses. And all you need to do is click on the link that's pinned up there at the top and just give me your name and email address so we can do the drawing. Hey, here comes Miss Brazil. There's Miss Brazil. Look at that. For those of you who don't know my wife, this is Adriana. She is affectionately called Miss Brazil, also known as the Garota de Ipanema, or the girl from Ipanema. And she keeps me well supplied with Brazilian coffee throughout the stream here. So welcome, Adriana. Thank you. She's going to be helping with me with the chat box here because I've got a lot of things going on here. I got a computer, I got another screen, I got an iPad, and it's just a lot going on for me to handle by myself. So she's going to be sending me. Oh, she's also the hair and makeup artist here, so she's going to be helping me run the chat here. Ana Teresa from Spain. Ana Teresa is, we affectionately call her Miss Spain. She is Paco's wife, and she's joined us there in the chat group. So welcome aboard, Ana Teresa. And let's see, Greg B. Greg Baker's here. You remember Greg? He took Paco's class here. Ramon is there from, I believe Ramon's up in Seattle, I think. We've got Greenfield, Indiana. We've got Kentucky. We've got Alberta, Canada. We've got San Antonio, Texas. Washington, Ontario, Canada. Chris in Wales. Fife, West, that's Washington. Clovis, California. Switzerland. Oh, my God. Good afternoon from New York. Well, welcome everybody for tuning in. I've tried to do this early in the morning here in Colorado. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. That way we can catch the people from Europe and other sides of the world. We even had a person that said he's going to tune in from Pakistan this morning. So let's see if he's able to tune in. Tom Jacobson from Oregon. Welcome aboard. Let me have a sip of this Brazilian coffee. You guys feel free to accompany me here with a coffee in your own shops there if you want. Richard is here. Hey, Richard, good to see you. Richard took Paco's flamenco class here in the shop here a few years ago too. We also went out in the evening and had a nice flamenco concert at a castle here in Colorado. All right, here we go. I've got a couple of announcements. The first announcement I've already made, that is the drawing. We're going to be giving away one of Paco's online courses. Now, this online course is much more than just an online course of how to build a flamenco guitar. It's an actual documentary about the flamenco culture. We start by building the guitar, but throughout the video, we visit other luthiers in Spain. We interview them about how their methods of building. We talk to dancers and singers and percussionists, and we go do city tours, and we talk about the cuisine. It's an all-inclusive flamenco documentary because flamenco is so much about the culture. So I think you'll really enjoy that. Don't forget to click on the link at the top of the chat box there. You got to put your name and your email address in there, and we'll be doing a drawing here in half hour or so. Something else I want to show you here is my website. I've got a couple of new announcements about that. So let me just dial up Mr. Website here. There we go. There's our website. And you'll notice that I have a couple of new courses coming out. And those courses are going to be on repair and setup. One of them is my course. It's called Repair and Restoration with Robert O'Brien. If you click on the link there, there's some pictures, and I'm sure that you will pick up some tricks and tips about repairs. I go all the way from simple setups all the way into full-fledged restorations. So quite a lot of information available there. It even covers crack repair and lutes. It covers how to set up electric guitars, banjos, resonators. I mean, you name it, it's all there. I've also invited Greg Maxwell of Dogwood Guitars to also do a repair course and document things that have come across his bench. And so he's going to have a setup and repair course coming out soon. I'm going to try and launch them on the same date, maybe even do a little promotional package deal if you get both of them. But he also has a lot of setup and repair work there, and you're always going to pick up a trick or two by watching. And, you know, if I do it or Greg does it, I mean, you're always able to pick up something. So hopefully you guys can get that. That'll be out here within the next few weeks. Deanna, how are we doing with the chat group there? I see more people piling on here. We're up to 41 people here.
Yes, you do.
Well, we got a little bit of delay here. The last person I recognized here was Richard. We've also got Stephen in San Juan Bautista in California. Dwayne says, all right, let's build a guitar. Enough chit chat. Bill from Fresno. David Shrey. David, how you doing out there in Clovis, California? Good to hear from you, David. All right, let me get back over here to the other scene. Oh, there's Paco. He's Paco. Paco, you're supposed to be out at the bullfighting arena there. He's up there seeing on my website. Look at that. He's in the stand on deck circle there, so Paco will be here in just a minute. You folks bear with me here. Yeah, I saw him on there. That's okay. Here we go. We've got a big show here for you today, if you can call it a big show. Paco's just back from the bullfighting arena. I'm going to bring him on screen here in just a minute. Don't forget to click on the link there for the drawing for getting one of Paco's flamenco courses. Also, a couple of announcements about me coming up here. I'm going to be in, not this week coming up, but the following week, I'm going to be at the Mark Adams School of Woodworking in Franklin, Indiana. I'm going to be teaching a guitar voicing class. I'm also going to be teaching a weekend French polish class, and there's still a couple places available if you'd like to get in on that. And all right, well, I think we're ready to bring Paco on. What do you think, Adriana? All right, let's see if we can dial up Paco here. Now, Paco, he probably doesn't need an introduction, but let me just introduce Paco. I met him a number of years ago when I went to Spain and did the flamenco guitar building course with him. And so he is a part-time bullfighter, full-time luthier, and he married Miss Spain. So let's just bring him on here. There he is. Paco, how you doing? It's an honor to have you here. I consider Paco to be a very good friend, and he's also an excellent, excellent luthier, as you're going to see here in a few minutes. He has a lot of custom guitars and custom work over on his website. In fact, I think I've got that where I can dial that up. Let's see here if I can dial up Paco's website, and we can take a quick look at the website. Hang on just a second here. Let me see if I can get that up. There we go. And there we go. There's Paco's website. Paco has a very nice website. Paco, you do your own website, don't you? I mean, he's a jack of all trades. He does it all. Not only that, he's a composer and a very accomplished recorded flamenco guitar performer. So he's quite amazing. But make sure that throughout the stream here or after the stream, go check out his website there, chorobo.com. And there's a lot of things going on. He even teaches classes just like me. He's the Robert O'Brien of Spain. There's no sound for Paco? All right, hang on a second. Let me see if we can get Paco's sound up. There's no sound for Paco? You can't hear Paco. All right, let me try something else. All right, how about now? Can we hear Paco now?
Hello, Maestro. Can you hear me?
Say something again, Paco.
Hello, Maestro. Can you hear me?
Nope, he's muted. All right, let's get Thiago down here, see if we can figure this out. Unable to hear Paco, and I don't know why, because I've got his mic on here, and so I don't know why that is. You can hear it now? Okay. Now they say that you can hear you. So there's a delay there. Can you still hear him? Say something again, Paco. So you can hear him now? Okay. You're good? Okay. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything on my end, so it just started working. Okay. All right. So you guys make sure you walk over to Paco's website there and take a look at that because he's got a lot of great information about the flamenco guitar building. He also gives classes. Say something again, Paco. Okay, we lost you again, Paco. Hang on, let me just get this back up and see what we can do here.
All right.
All right. And there's about a 15 or 20-second delay, so I just unmuted another mic here. Let's see.
Yeah, probably there is a delay in between our call and the live streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, and Paco's coming all the way from Spain. All right, now we're good again. Paco's coming all the way from Spain, so I'm trying to do a Zoom call with him on one computer. So we've got that delay, and then we have the delay as we're piping it out to YouTube. So there's probably a good 15, 20, even 30-second delay here. All right, so Paco's now up and running. Let me take a swig of water here.
It's never easy, Maestro.
Never easy. Anyway, you guys take a look at Paco's website. And let me get back to our scene here with our guest. We got it working. I had to click that button right there.
The desktop audio is what captures his mic.
Yeah, okay. According to my technical director here, Thiago, who's my son, he says that the desktop audio was not on, but now we're good. All right, so there's back to Paco. All right, so Paco has a lot that he wants to talk about today. I've mentioned that he is the Robert O'Brien of Spain, so he's quite popular over there in Spain. In fact, they roll out the red carpet for him there at the governor's mansion there.
No way, Maestro. Way far from truth.
A couple of things that I just ran some ideas by Paco before the live stream started here, and a couple of things that he said, hey, why don't you mention this? I said, okay, and I didn't even know he was doing these. So why don't we start with Paco is doing 3D design and printing for luthiers. I guess that's a service you're now offering. Is that correct, Paco?
It's actually a new topic that I'm teaching here in the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
3D printing is becoming very popular.
Uh-huh.
It's a great tool for artisans and luthiers,
mm-hmm.
despite the fact it involves a lot of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, actually, it's pretty easy, and it's more affordable than ever to access through printing today. And the key is to know how to adapt this technology to the artisan work, to the luthier shop, to take all the advantages of this technology.
Right.
The future of luthiery goes through 3D printing, CAD technology, CNC, but used in a way that it keeps the artisan soul, so we don't lose it.
Yep.
Otherwise, we become factories.
Right. I see here in the chat box, Paco, somebody says, where in Spain is Paco? So tell us a little bit about the little town you live in there.
I'm living in a beautiful World Heritage city called Úbeda in the province of Jaén. Úbeda is a wonderful city. It's a very safe. It's very warm, very welcoming city. It's very nice to walk through here. There's lots of inspiration, and there is a bunch of great artisans here on other arts like ceramics, pottery, metal works, you name it, painters, book writers.
And the architecture there, correct me if I'm wrong, Paco, but I think you said that that's the largest concentration of Renaissance architecture in the world. Is that correct?
We indeed were declared World Heritage City because of the amount of Renaissance buildings that we have here. So, well, you need to visit Úbeda to really understand it. You've been here, and you know the amount of stone buildings, all the heritage that we have from Arabs, from all those cultures that have been here. So all of that is still here. There's a remnant here.
It's amazing
So-
because in the flamenco guitar building course, we did a city tour of Ubida. We also did one of Cordoba and a couple of other cities. But I remember as we're walking around Ubida, Paco would say, "Hey, you see this church over here? You can see where the Arabs left their mark, and then the Christians left their mark, and then the Muslims, and it is very, very interesting, all of the architecture and how it progressed. So fascinating story about the little town of Ubida there, and very, very nice. I've got a picture of me in one of the squares in Ubida, below one of those little thermometers, and the clock, and it says like 45, 46 degrees Celsius. I mean, it was hot. But
people really enjoy the city. And you get tapas for free with your drink.
That's right. You have tapas. You have tapas. Daniela, did you have a question for me? Okay. Pierre Costa is, I think he's from South Africa, is going to come take a class with you next year. Paco, you recognize that name? Is he on your schedule?
Yeah, Future Woods.
Good deal. All right. What else, Adriana? Is that it? Okay. So I always like for these live streams to be interactive. So if any of you folks out there watching have any questions for Paco or for myself, be sure and let us have them. So the first thing we've talked about is the 3D design and printing. And I know Paco does all of his 3D design and cuts it out with lasers and all that kind of stuff. All of his templates and stuff. It's pretty amazing. When he came and gave the flamenco guitar building course here in my class or my shop, did that 2 years in a row. It was amazing. About all the materials he brought were all laser cut and very precise. So fantastic stuff. Along those lines of guitar building, Paco, Paco also offers a class called No Electricity Guitar Building, right? Tell us a little bit about that, Paco.
Yeah, everything started in Colorado, actually. I remember you taking me to Woodcraft.
Yes.
And I was one of the things that really amazed me and wanted me to move to the United States was the amount of tools that you can get, the amount of resources. I mean, it was not which tool do you need, but in which color you need it. It's amazing. So I was thinking in many other places where there is no so much tools or even electricity.
Right.
So I thought, why not to offer a course with no electricity? And when I say no electricity, I mean with no batteries, not even the caliper that has a little battery in there. So I mean, no electricity at all.
Now, do you work with the lights on or off, Paco, in the shop? Candlelight.
If here in my workshop, I don't have a natural light.
Yep.
So we need a source of light. We cannot work with candles, but if it happens on a different scenario, like a different school or something where we have plenty of natural light, then there's no lights, no artificial lights.
Okay, Adriana's raising her hand and says we've got a couple of questions for us there. What do you got, Adriana?
John Gallego, what are the dimensions of a good flamenco guitar?
All right, so question, Paco, is what are the dimensions of a good flamenco guitar? Do you have those off the top of your head?
Sorry?
The dimensions of a good flamenco guitar is the question.
Well, the if I had to say one dimension, I will point you towards the scale length.
Okay.
I think it's one of the key elements of the flamenco guitar. And you should aim as long as you can.
The scale length as long as you can.
Yes, as long as your customer can play.
Okay.
So you can use 665 or even 670.
Really?
670 millimeters.
Okay.
The longer, the better.
Because of the string tension?
Yeah, that will help you a lot. And there are another two dimensions that you should really look into a guitar, and is to provide as much angle on the headstock as you can.
Okay.
As much as you can.
Is that because of the flamenco pegs that come through?
Especially if you are using the flamenco pegs.
Okay.
And also to provide you more tension on first, second, and third fret.
Okay.
And the other one is the bridge height.
Mm-hmm.
So you should always keep the bridge under 8 millimeters, and the string height should be at any moment under 10 millimeters.
Okay.
Even better if it's under 8 millimeters. I mean, if you are looking for a traditional, pure flamenco sound,
Mhm.
those three items, those three dimensions, those are most important, more than the shape of the body, more than the depth of the body.
Right.
Because the character that you get when you have these strings low, close to the top,
Mhm.
you cannot replace that with anything, with a template or with the thickness of the body.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that impressed me most when I was in Spain. We were traveling around talking to other luthiers, and we found luthiers that were building flamenco guitar tops with as few as 5 fan braces and then as many as up to 11 fan braces, and they were all considered flamenco guitars. And
Yeah.
then something that Paco told me that really resonated with me is it's not the guitar, it's the player that makes
Yeah.
it flamenco. Is that correct, Paco?
Yeah, and it's the character of the instrument. It's not related to the bracing. Well, of course, the bracing will help you, but it's more the character of the instrument, especially regarding these geometries, the neck, the headstock, the bridge, the scale length,
Mhm.
the feeling that provides to the customer is what makes the comfortable playing flamenco. If they have the strings way off the top, they cannot perform things like tapping on the top because the strings are way off. There is a saying here in Spain that you need to be attached to the ground. You need to be close to the ground
Okay.
to be able to do flamenco. Of course, flamenco guitar is evolving a lot. Flamenco players are skyrocketing in their techniques and their compositing level. So the guitars are adapting. But if we talk about traditional flamenco playing, those three elements should be seriously taken into account.
All right, Paco, we have another question here. This one is from Steve Foss, who is here in Colorado. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Please tell us about your approach to building the top for your flamenco guitars. Looser or tighter than a classical? What do you think?
All right. Well,
Now,
we
we only have 1 hour here, Paco, so keep it, so we can understand it.
I know. We can be here for 20 days to cover all this. Yep. The main thing is to think about in terms of the player. Mm-hmm. That will be step number one. Then if you don't have a player, if you are building a guitar for yourself or to sell it later on with no player in mind, mm-hmm. when you approach the process of making the top, think about in terms of mass and stiffness. And for a flamenco guitar, you want the mass as low as possible, and you want the stiffness to be as high as you can. Okay. So it sounds very easy, but indeed it is. Just keep the mass, and to keep the mass low, how can you do it? Select a top that has a natural stiffness to it, so you can thin it down and go to 2.2, 2.1, and keep the same level of stiffness as a top of 2.5 millimeters that you will use on a classical guitar.
Right.
It's as easy and as difficult as it sounds.
Okay. Another question, and this has to do with the neck joint. What is better for the neck joint, the Spanish heel or the dovetail, or does it even matter?
Okay, I will tell you. I will be very honest here. 3 weeks ago, I was thinking that Bolton necks or dovetails, they were not right.
Ah, look at that. You've been using bolt-ons.
I just completed 2 weeks ago. I completed my first Bolton neck guitar.
Yeah. And did you notice any difference tonally or playability or anything?
No.
Nothing.
The only difference is it's harder to hold a guitar that has no neck. That's the only thing.
That's right.
I need a vacuum pump.
You need a vacuum pump now, yeah.
I need a vacuum pump.
Okay, let's move on down here. How does the different fan bracing make the response of the flamenco top different to the classical top? Is it more or less stiff top, generally thicker or thinner, etc.?
In general, it's thinner.
Okay.
In general, tops for flamenco guitar are thinner but we select tops that have a natural attitude of being very stiff along the grain and across the grain.
Right.
So that allows us to go as thin as possible, to remove as much mass as possible. But it's not only the top, it's how you join the top to the sides.
Okay.
If you want to go for a traditional sound, you must use individual kerfing, individual pentalones or peones.
Right.
Because you need to control the energy that is lost at the end of the swimming pool.
Right. Okay.
So it's not only the top, it's how you attach it. But in general, yeah, as light and as stiff as you can, but lightness is one of the most important items in the flamenco guitar.
Wow.
For sure.
Now, what Paco just said is, I mean, that's many, many years of experience, and he resumed that down into about 2 sentences, which was very good, Paco. If you want to delve into that more, the flamenco guitar course has a complete chapter on voicing the top, and it's very detailed and very thorough. He does a great job of explaining that. By the way, if you want to be in the drawing for winning the flamenco guitar building course, click on the link there that's pinned to the top of the chat box. Put in your name and email address, and here in a few minutes, I'm going to have my web guy do a drawing, and we're going to give away one of the courses. Let's move on down the questions here. Paco, how you doing? You okay?
Excellent, maestro.
Yeah. How was that bullfight this morning? Did you win?
Okay, of course. I have no other chance.
That's right. You either win or lose, right?
Yeah, it's one chance.
All right, here we go. Joseph wants to know, Paco, how can I utilize flamenco guitar building basics on my big body jazz ukuleles? Wow, that's a stretch.
Yeah. So think about the ukulele sound.
Uh-huh.
So keep in your mind let's say the most usual ukulele sound, and now think about a flamenco player playing music on that instrument. Which frequencies would you like to accentuate or to remove, and then work on that? Because the instrument itself cannot change the shape. I mean, the mood. Every instrument has a mood. When you pick up an ukulele, you get into a mood which is completely different than when you pick up a steel string or a flamenco guitar. So think about that. So when he picks the ukulele, you want he to still be in the mood of the flamenco guitar. So first thing you need to provide is a pickup. Try to keep the strings of the ukulele as close to the top as you can. Adjust the angle of the neck, adjust the height of the bridge, because it's very difficult for you to achieve a flamenco sound with the top and the bracing of the ukulele. But you can provide the geometry and the feeling in the hands of the flamenco player. And that's the success to make a flamenco ukulele, or to make a steel string guitar for a flamenco player. It's to provide them as close to the feeling of the actual instrument. And of course, you can do it with the ukulele.
Okay, let's move on down. We got a lot of questions coming in here, Paco, and he has a couple of things he wanted to show us here. He wanted to give us a quick shop tour and wave his camera around in his shop, and he has some wax that he cooks. Man, he really is the Robert O'Brien of Spain, because I cook my own wax too. So let's go through a few more questions here, and then as time permits, we'll have you do a quick shop tour or something. Let's see. Next question here. David Schramm out there in California. I get a lot of requests for a 665 millimeter for my flamenco guitars. I love it for classical. There is a myth that they are harder to play. The longer is softer for fretting hand. Glad Paco mentioned 665. Wow, has that been your experience as well, Paco?
Well, one of my favorite ones is 655.
Yeah, okay.
And just those 5 millimeters will give you slightly more tension that will get you in the mood of playing flamenco.
Wow.
I mean, as I mentioned, the longer the better.
Mm-hmm.
But those are myths that it's harder to play. How hard a guitar is perceived by the player is more on the stiffness on the top, is more on the angle of the head top, is more on the geometry that you provide on the neck, the setup of the strings, how good your fretting is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can have a guitar that is very hard, I mean, with tons of tension, but if you provide a very good setup, very good intonation of the sound, very nice and very accurate setup on the nut, then that player will enjoy the instrument because you are providing more tension. That means he can play harder. He can get more excited when he's playing live. So he will get even more volume without clipping, because the guitar has like a natural clipping that we know as buzzing or fretting.
Right.
But he won't get it because he has more tension. So in the end, he's enjoying even more. So he doesn't feel that the guitar is hard. Actually, it's better for him.
Right.
Many professional players have a special guitar with more tension just to play live. Because when you play live, if anybody in the chat has played live, you get more excited and you play harder, and you're excited. You are on a stage, you are live, and if you have a guitar with a little bit more tension, you play harder and you play better.
Very good. Great explanation, Paco. Speaking of playing live, Paco is a composer and a recorded flamenco guitar performer. The guitar that's built in his online flamenco guitar building course, we build it in the course, and then the last scenes of the course are him playing at a professional concert in Granada for about 3,000 people on the guitar we built in the course. It's pretty amazing. It's a very professional, done with dancers and singers and all that kind of stuff. So very, very good. Adriano, would you mind grabbing that top over there for me, please? I got a question coming up for Donald Forsyth. He's down in Brunswick, Georgia. It says, Robbie and Paco, it's Don from Brunswick, Georgia. I had a question about the Spanish heel. Some makers have the extension of a slipper or foot on their heel. Does this slipper add anything? And before you get to that question, Paco, I am making a top here for Don down there in Brunswick, Georgia. Don has got my online guitar building course, my classical guitar building course, and recently he asked me to make him a couple of tops. One that was completely thicknessed and voiced, and the other one that was just thickness with no braces. And that way he could grasp that concept of thickness and looseness and see how it progresses. And so I sent those to him. He said, man, this is wonderful. I'm learning a lot. However, there's a big jump from no braces to finished bracing. So can you give me one with just the 7 fan braces that have been shaped and no other braces? So Don, your top is almost ready. I'm getting ready to ship that out to you probably here at the beginning of next week. All right, Paco, do you remember the question?
That's a Santos Hernandez.
Yeah, very close. This is a method that I learned from Jose Romanitos when I was in Spain. It's very close to the Torres Hauser type design.
Yeah, Santos Hernandez, like the father of the flamenco guitar.
Yep.
That's very, very similar to his style.
Very similar. Yeah.
You can get a very nice flamenco guitar out of that.
So do you need the slipper or the foot on the heel or not? Does that slipper or foot add anything?
Well, the more surface you get, especially on the surface that you glue on the back, it's going to lock the angle of the neck even more if you have like 7 or 8 centimeters, 80 or 90 millimeters of the back glued to the actual neck, to the sole of the neck. That is going to lock a little bit more the neck. So that is also going to affect the feeling that you have of the tension of the instrument. Because when you play these strings, the neck is going to flex a little bit less.
Right.
So it's going to add a little bit more of extra tension without you having to add more stiffness to the top.
Very good. Great explanation. All right, let's go on down here to Mr. Gallego. What are the key factors to obtain the percussive sound of the flamenco guitar? Are there any key factors in the building? Obviously, the player is contributing, but is there any building factors that contribute to the percussiveness of the flamenco guitar?
As a general rule, when you approach the building of the top and you go thin, stiff, lightweight, you are already setting the foundation for that percussive sound. Then it's very important to provide the player the strings to be 7 or 8 millimeters above the top, and you need to provide them with a actually glued top plate on the top, because they need to get the point where you get the better percussive sound. And there is where they will go with the fingers, where they are tapping and playing at the same time. So you need to provide the strings low to the ground. That's a key factor. I know I'm repeating this concept a lot, but it's impossible to make flamenco play flamenco if you have 10, 12 millimeters with the strings off the top. It's completely impossible.
Very
You
good.
will see many factory guitars, which are basically the same model, but in laminated cypress or sycamore. And they have exactly the same bridge as the classical model. So it's 12, 13, 14 millimeters. It's completely impossible to play flamenco.
Right. Okay.
Completely impossible.
Paco, we have a lot of questions. We may be here all day.
I'm here to serve you, Master.
All right. Adriana says she has a question here. Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, my wife has a very good suggestion. If we can't get to all the questions, maybe Paco and I could just do a video of him and I answering questions we didn't get to here, and we'll put out like a volume 2 or 2.0 answering more questions. But let's get to as many as we can here, and here in a few minutes we want to get the little shop tour that Paco's going to give us. Also, if you want to be eligible for the drawing of the online flamenco guitar bending course, click on the link, put in your email, put in your name, and we'll get to that here in a minute. All right, let's see. Are flamenco guitar tops graduated from the bridge pad? Is there a bridge pad? I think he means to say bridge patch. So is there a bridge patch or not? And are the tops graduated?
If you like to provide a little bit more of pumping effect to the top, if you want to sacrifice a little bit of harmonic content on the high end, then graduate the top, because you will provide a little bit more flexibility on the edges, and the center of the top will work as a whole and will pump a little bit more. You will excite the first modes first, and regarding the bridge patch, I think it's the usage of the bridge patch is going down and down and down, because it indeed doesn't add a lot to the current style of playing.
Okay.
I think it's better to add a long strip, which is known as a 5+T bracing, a long thin brace in front of the bridge area. That's going to enhance your top for flamenco playing, especially for a modern flamenco playing, way more than a bridge patch.
Okay.
Way more.
Very good. What is your, this is Dave. This is a great question, David. What is your opinion of cedar for flamenco guitar tops? I like low density, 19 pounds per cubic foot, and stiff. Spruce is hard to find that low. So Paco, have you ever built a cedar top flamenco guitar?
Well, I think it's very easy for me to answer this question, because my own personal flamenco guitar has a cedar top.
There you go.
I am a cedar player, because for my style of playing, cedar is more suited for me.
Okay. Now, is that traditional? Is cedar top traditional for flamenco guitar or not?
Well, it started in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
So you can consider it as traditional as you can consider the 60s. So yeah, it's not the most common. Let's say it this way. It's not the most common. But Sitka spruce, which is not from Europe,
right? You
can make flamenco guitars with Sitka spruce.
Really? How interesting. How interesting.
Yes.
I remember.
You can take it down. You can thin it down a lot.
Wow.
It's very, very good.
I remember when I went to study with Jose Romanides in Spain a number of years ago, on the instruction sheet that he gave us, he says, do not bring cedar. Cedar is good for fence post. You have to bring spruce. All right. Let's see. How long have you been building guitars, Paco, and have you built other styles?
Yes, I have built romantic guitars, steel string, ukulele, epoch guitars, 18th century, flamenco and classical guitar, and 7-string, and I think that's all.
All right.
I've been building since 2013 when I started my company, actually, because previously I was an engineer working for a big international company. One day I decided to quit, and I saw a video on YouTube of a blonde guy called Robbie O'Brien, and I said, man, when I grew up, I want to be like that.
Yeah, you said, man, this guy, he works 24/7. He has no 401k retirement plan, no sick days, no vacation days. Man, I want to be like him. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
I
Let's,
said, I want that.
you want that lifestyle? Well, you've got it now. Welcome. Should the bracing of a flamenco guitar be an open fan pattern or a parallel bracing?
Okay, so this is my template. I don't know if it's hard to catch in camera, but here I have points for more than 30 types of bracing. And you can build a flamenco guitar pretty much out of all of them. So it's not about the parallel or the to be parallel or to be transverse, because you can find great examples of flamenco guitars like Domingo Esteso. He was completely parallel, completely straight. Then you have people like Gerundino or Marcelo Barbero. Then you have other luthiers like Manuel Reyes, considered one of the greatest flamenco makers. And his bracing was very similar to a classical guitar. And so more than the bracing itself is, what is this bracing giving to me? What this brace is providing me? What kind of stiffness? In which direction? Which modes? Which frequencies is this brace going to provide me? And then apply that to make a tailor-made instrument for the player, or in this case for the genre, for the flamenco genre. So it's more than than saying, okay, if it's parallel, it will be more flamenco. If it's crossed, it will be less flamenco. That's a very dangerous statement, and I don't see myself saying something like that, because it's not about the bracing. It's a combination of many things.
Right.
Because you can copy a flamenco bracing, and you can copy the exact size of my guitars or a top or anything, and you can end with a beautiful sounding classical guitar,
Right.
made out of cypress.
Yep.
So it's very hard. It's a lot of ingredients, and it's the mix in the end what really gets, and the geometry that we were talking previously at the beginning of the live stream.
Right. Paco, another question. What are the typical finishes for a flamenco guitar?
Shellac for sure.
Shellac. That's the traditional.
Yeah.
And I know you do any type of finish the client wants. You've done it all, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite one is waterborne.
Okay.
That's my personal preference.
Uh-huh.
It looks like shellac,
Uh-huh.
but it's hard like lacquer.
Okay. Good. Does your bolt-on neck have a slipper on the back?
You mean the Bolton neck?
Yeah, when you do a bolt-on neck, does it have a slipper on the back, like a Spanish foot?
Well, what I have is a fake dovetail.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the end of the tenon.
Mm-hmm.
You say tenon in English, right?
Yes, tenon. Uh-huh.
The tenon that goes inside of the mortise
Mm-hmm.
is not completely straight.
Right.
It has an angle.
Uh-huh.
So you need to lock it down before, and then it presses in.
Right.
You cannot get the mortise, the tenon inside of the mortise completely straight. It needs to go like this.
Right. Oh, how interesting.
So when the strings pull, when the
Uh-huh.
steel strings, they have a lot of tension. When they pull,
Mhm.
you have like a wedge
Right.
inside of the guitar, and,
Right.
and it's doing like this. So you cannot bend the neck more than you can bend the body.
Wow.
That's the only difference.
Okay. Very, very interesting.
And I love the experience. I really love the experience. It will be on my website on following weeks.
Okay, because Brent here says, hey, I'd love to see Paco's bolt-on neck system. So if you're going to put some pictures on your website here in a few weeks, I'm sure he would like to see it. Paco, we could go on all day. I mean, I've got questions still coming in. There's tons of questions. But if we're going to do a shop tour, we have to kind of get to this because we're coming up on the top of the hour here pretty quick. But what do you think? Should more questions or should we do a shop tour?
Okay, let's do a quick tour.
Okay.
And I will show you the actual secrets.
Oh, yeah, I was waiting for those. I was wondering when we're going to show the secrets.
Yeah, because people think that I have a big CNC machine, I have a big laser. So I push a button and then the guitars go out of the machine.
You put the tree in one side and out comes the guitar, right?
Yeah. So I will show you my secret room.
Okay, I'm going to switch scenes here. I'm going to go just to you. Let's see if we can do this here. There we go. All right, now you're free to walk around the shop there, and you can take your camera with you. Let's do a quick shop tour. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and keep putting them in the chat box there. We'll try and get to them. Also, remember to click on the link there to be eligible for the drawing of the free online flamenco guitar building course. Go ahead,
okay,
Paco.
guys, follow me to the secret room. So
there we go.
This is my workshop. Do you remember, Robbie?
Yeah, I do. It's bringing back great memories.
Yeah, here until 2 o'clock in the morning.
I remember that. Maybe one day it was like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah. So what you see here is my workshop. This is my main working table. Secondary, auxiliary, this is for assembly. My little machines there. And I will show you now the secret room, which is right here.
Look at that. This is top secret, folks. Don't let this get out.
This is the Smartisan Lab.
Smartisan Lab. Look at that.
Okay. So here you can see my computer. So I have prepared a couple of examples. This is the 3D printer.
Okay.
Okay, so let me show you what I have done.
That's new, yeah. Adriana says that's new. That wasn't in your shop when we were there.
So look at this. This has been printing like that. So in a few weeks, I will have in my website a guitar that I've been building for a customer in London. And I have been making hundreds of these pieces to make all the pieces of the guitar.
Wow.
So this is a routing template for a sound port.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah, so I designed this in 3D software. So this is going to print this for me. Another tool that I have used a lot is this little laser. I mean, it cannot cut wood, but I can engrave things. So I have a little example here. So let's see what happens.
So there's your laser cutter in action. Look at that.
Yeah. So we will be back in 1 minute. And this is my super big CNC machine. Look at this.
It's beautiful.
So this is the machine that we use with the students because this is very safe. It's very hard for them to harm them with this machine because it's like a Sharpie moving.
Right.
But it's exactly the same as one of those $100,000 machine.
And you made that machine yourself, right?
Yes. All of this is DIY.
Right.
So you buy the components, you buy the motors, you buy the, and then here you have all the codes telling the machine what to do. So the future of luthiery is going in this direction, Maestro.
Wow, look at that. That's amazing, Paco.
Well, it's not amazing. It's just using the computer for an artisan purpose.
Look at that. Please like and subscribe. Very interesting. Paco is a true genius. I mean, my God, he's a technical whiz. He does his own 3D printing and design and CAD. It's amazing. I'm nowhere near that good at this stuff. I'm old school. I take a chisel and go to work. But Paco, he goes to the computer and does a lot of design. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's better, Maestro. Just stay the old school way.
Yeah, I want to build guitars. I don't want to program.
Don't get into this. Don't do it.
Wow. Very, very interesting. How much time we got left here, Adriana? What are we doing on time?
It's 10:52.
It's 10:52. I like to keep these at about an hour, Paco, and so we're coming up on the time limit here. You got anything else you want to show us real quick?
Well, we can cook. I'm cooking right now.
What are you cooking? Are you cooking an omelet? I know the
Let me show you.
olive oil there is very good there in Ubida.
Oh Lord, you have to try.
Yeah, I mean here in the States we have wine tastings, but there in Ubida you have olive tastings.
Okay, guys. So you need 4 parts of mineral oil.
Hmm.
Cooking.
You're just a little bit off camera there, Paco. What are you pouring into? Ah, you're putting it on a scale. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So 4 parts of olive
Uh-huh.
of oil. So sorry.
Mineral oil,
And
right?
then, yeah, 1 part of business. Sorry, beeswax.
Beeswax, not bee's knees, right?
Sorry, please excuse me. I'm not an. I have learned English listening to Robert O'Brien YouTube channel.
You know, there's a guy in Brazil that told me that too. He learned English listening to me.
I promise. I absolutely promise. So 1 part of wax.
Right.
So get the mineral oil on a hot bath.
Okay.
How do you say in English? Bath Maria?
Banho Maria in Portuguese. I don't. A steam bath, I think, in English. And you're a little bit off camera again. Can you lift the camera up to see what you're doing? The Banho Maria there. There you go.
Okay. It's 1 part of wax.
Yep.
4 parts of hot mineral oil.
Okay.
So put the wax in the oil and wait for it to completely dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I have put 16 grams of oil, 4 grams of wax,
Okay.
and then add 4 grams of any abrasive that you like. So if you like to use 4F pumice, you will get a white wax,
Right.
great for spruce tops, necks. If you use Tripoli,
Okay.
then you will get a caramel color wax,
Mm-hmm.
perfect for cedar, rosewood, anything that you like.
Right.
And if you use rotten stone,
Mm-hmm.
we got this illegally in Denver, right?
No, I believe you bought that when you were here at Woodcraft.
I'm sorry, I'm joking. Sorry, guys. We are always joking. You should have been there when we were recording the DVD.
Oh my God.
It was 5 minutes of laughing on the floor, 30 seconds of serious recording. It was like that all day. So if you use rotten stone, you will get a black wax, great for polishing ebony and very dark woods. So get the wax, melt, and then when it's completely melt, you add 4 grams, because we are using 114 parts of abrasive,
Right.
beeswax, and mineral oil. So just let the wax to dissolve in there, and then add your favorite abrasive. Pumice, if you want white wax, perfect for spruce tops, for clear maple. Wow, it looks beautiful. I will be updating pictures
Mm-hmm.
of the guitar
Mm-hmm.
that we have built in the steel string, my very first steel string chorus, and you will see the hybrid finish, which is pumice to fill the pores, shellac to seal the body,
Mhm.
rabbit glue. How do you say in
Yeah,
English?
rabbit glue. Uh-huh. Mhm.
To seal the top, beautiful on cedar, and then over all of that we applied that wax, white on the top and the caramel color on the body and on the neck. You
Wow.
will see the picture.
That sounds like a wonderful finish.
It's impossible to fail with that type of finish.
Wow.
for all the people making flamenco guitars out of Cyprus, if you make the white variety and you do your normal French polishing or oil finishing or whatever you do, and if you are not getting great results, it will take you years to take very good results with French polishing.
Yeah.
And everything to 2000 or 3000 P grade, make everything matte, and then polish everything with the wax. The oil will lubricate the abrasive that you have in there, and the wood will look like those bowls that people that doing wood turning.
Right, right.
Silky, smooth, beautiful, impossible to fail, no runs of drips. Beautiful finish, but you have to take a lot of care of the guitar.
Wow. Okay, Paco, I think it's about time for a drawing. What do you think?
I'm willing to know if I have win the course.
Okay. Well, did you enter your name and email address there? Did you click on the link? That's the only way. That's the only way.
Maestro, don't you have the feeling that sometimes you are very jealous of your students?
Sometimes. Some of my students lately have been building guitars that at the end of the week I say, my God, do you want to leave this one here? Because I'd love to play this one. There's some really nice guitars coming out of the shop. I'm sure you have the same thing, Paco. Some really nice guitars being built by your students.
And the experience.
Yeah.
So they come here, they stay here for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, holidays, doing what they love, eating tapas for free. What else can you ask?
I mean, when I went to Ubi to study with Paco and filmed the flamenco guitar bending course, I mean, it was like I was in paradise. I was in guitar building heaven in a mecca for vacation. I mean, the city is beautiful. The food is wonderful. Paco and his wife are just very courteous and very hospitable. So if you guys want to go study in Spain and have a vacation, take the family along, Paco's your guy. Let me call, I'm going to call my web developer down there in Spain, not in Spain, but in Brazil. This is Mr. Cesar. I mean, this is really international. We got Paco in Spain, me in Colorado. Now I'm going to call Brazil, and I'm going to introduce you to Cesar, who is my web guy. He's going to do the drawing for us. Hey, there's Cesar. Everybody say hello to Cesar.
Hello, Cesar.
There we go. Cesar's going to do the drawing. How many people entered the drawing, Cesar? 34 people that have entered the drawing. And are you ready to go ahead and do the drawing there? All right, so I'm going to show it here on screen. Can everybody see that? I tell you what, let me just go back to the scene with me. Maybe you can see that a little better. There we go. All right, so we got 34 people. You want to go ahead and generate there the drawing? Let's see who it is. Number 24. Earl Moore. Earl Moore, you have just won a copy of Paco's Flamenco guitar bending course, and what a great course! You're going to love that course. It's one of my courses I'm the most proud of. It's a full-fledged documentary about everything flamenco, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. So since we have about a 20 or 30 second delay going on here, the only way that we know that if Earl is still here is if he manifests himself there in the chat group or in the chat box there. So go ahead and just say, hey, Earl, I'm here. I recognize that I've won. And then my web developer down there in Brazil, Cesar, will contact you, and we'll set you up with access to the flamenco guitar bending course. Cesar, I'm going to leave you online here just for a minute. So you tell me, let's see, let's keep an eye on the chat box here. Earl Moore, you have won. So if he's still online, you got to be online here to win. So if you're online, then go ahead and manifest yourself. If not, we're going to go ahead and go to the next person. Paco, why don't we answer another question or two?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, there he is. I just see chat group or in the chat box there. I'm so excited. Thanks. And Earl says that he's here. Cesar, you have his email address, right? So you'll be in contact with him. All right, so Earl, Cesar will be in contact with you from Brazil. He's my web developer, and he'll set you up with access there. Way to go, Earl. Congratulations. You're really going to love the course. Cesar, I'm going to disconnect with you, okay? And I'll contact you here when we get done, okay? All right. Thank you, Cesar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Cesar.
Oh, man, isn't technology a wonderful thing? This is just
Great job, web developers.
This is crazy. Yes. And to pull this operation off here, because I'm technically challenged, I mean, I need my son, I need Paco, I need my web guy in Brazil, I need my wife over here helping me run the chat group here. It's just, it's pretty crazy. Paco, how are you doing on time? You okay? We've been on here about an hour already. Should we call it quits, or you want to go for a couple more questions?
Of course.
All right. Well, I did see another couple of questions here that were kind of interesting. We'll just do one or two more, and then we'll call it quits. One of the questions is, do you build guitars in batches or one at a time?
Right. At this moment, I'm building one at a time, but I recognize that it's a very inefficient method. I mean, it's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's I love it. It's what I like to do. It's when I started, I said, okay, I'm going to do this because here in Spain, there are so many great builders and I am completely unknown. Nobody knows me. So I had to do something in a different way. So that's why I exaggerated the concept of tailor-made,
right?
Which is a concept which is we're not so usual here in Spain.
Right.
It still isn't. So building one by one is very cool. You get very involved into every project and you create very unique guitars, obviously, but it's completely inefficient.
Right.
So it will triple or quadruple the time that you need to build a guitar.
Right. Okay. Paco, can I use maple for back and sides for flamenco guitars?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at this.
Let's see what he has over there. Maple back. Look at that. So the answer is a definite yes.
So this is I don't know, bird's eye maple.
Bird's eye maple.
Waiting for another customer. So yeah.
Perfect.
Everything.
All right. Paco, is there a way to set up a classical guitar to make it sound like a flamenco guitar?
It depends on your style of playing. If you are a very melodical player, you like to use arpeggios, melodies. What you can do is try to get the action as low as possible.
Right.
Not the action, I mean the bridge, because on my personal guitar, I play with more than 3 millimeters. And most of the flamenco guitars that I make are 2.5 millimeters on the 6th string and 1.8 on the 1st string. But I personally play with 3 millimeters. But my bridge is 7 millimeters off the top. I mean, the action of the strings has nothing to do with the bridge height. The bridge height is very important for a flamenco player.
Wow. So
if you can get your strings low to the top, that's way better. And very, very, very important, you need a top plate that is indeed glued to the top, because you need full contact. If it's tape, if you use tape to hold it in place,
right,
then you have air in between the top plate, and you will never get into the rhythm, into the habit of tapping the top, which is very, very important to play flamenco.
Right. Okay, Paco, last question here. Is the Alaska yellow cypress comparable with Spanish cypress?
Biologically, they may look similar, but they are slightly different. But I tell you that you can build a guitar with yellow cedar as a substitute of cypress. Great.
Okay. Very good.
Use Alaska spruce for the top. I tell you, it will be an amazing flamenco guitar.
Okay.
Also, very, very, very beautiful, because yellow cedar sometimes is even more beautiful than it will give you a look of like the guitar is made out of butter.
Wow.
Very, very beautiful.
Very good, Paco. Well, thank you for taking the time. What time is it there in Spain now? It's what, like 5, 6 in the evening?
I think it's 7 o'clock in the
7 o'clock in the evening. Time to go out with Miss Spain and get some tapas, right?
Tapas for free are about to start. So I I wait for you all to be here in 1 hour.
Well, I tell you, after today's discussion with you here, it brought back a lot of memories, and I'm ready to get on a plane and come see you again, Paco, because I had a wonderful time when I was in your shop. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and spending your Saturday morning here in the United States with us, and in Europe in your Saturday afternoon. So thank you so much for everybody that was online here. And this link will stay available. You can watch it on YouTube. You can replay it if you want to learn the recipe about Paco's wax and all that stuff again. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Over and out, folks.
Thank you, Maestro.
Thank you, Paco.